So, how many of you feel you can take a class on sex? You are very comfortable to talk to anyone about sex and can conduct a class on sex, maybe in the catechism classes or maybe in another group or somewhere? Only one or two? 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I just counting. I'm counting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Only I saw 2 hands up. So don't get confused with. I am practicing whether I have forgotten 1, 2, 3 or not. No wonder. Because we are not comfortable to use the word sex. So after this session, all of you I will see all the hands up and you will say, yes, I can go and talk about sex even on the street. So powerfully you will become. Praise the Lord. So why we are not comfortable when we use the word sex? Because as Raymond said, there is a negative attachment to the word sex. The pornographic culture has given us a negative sting to the word sex. Am I right? Because when you say the word sex, immediately what kind of image or picture is coming to your mind? Forget about the negative. The moment you use the word sex, immediately an image is flashing here because the secular culture, the pornographic culture has given us some image about sex. What is that? Just lust. Something is coming to your mind immediately. You all know, but you are not expressing it. That's it. Immediately, it takes us to some kind of activity. Am I right? Some activity. Sex means, okay, maybe husband, wife, or man, woman, or someone. Two people are engaged in some kind of activity. So what happened? Hey, when you are in the mass, is it good to talk about sex? That's very bad. At home, children, they come and ask you about sex. You encourage them. Come on. Tomorrow also, if you have any question on sex, come on, I am ready to give you the answers. The parents will encourage them. What will be their normal reaction? What will be their normal? There are exceptional parents. What will be the normal reaction of from school? Child is coming. Mummy, you know about sex? Oh, sex. Even if it is a 6-year-old, 5-year-old child, are you comfortable? What is your reaction immediately? From where did you get this dirty word? You are not going to the school for learning all these dirty things. Who taught you this? Who said sex there? That is your reaction. Normal reaction. There are exceptional cases. Because we think it is something very bad. It is always the pornographic culture has attached this sting to us, the negative meaning to us, is always giving us only a feeling of some activity, nothing more than that. That's why we are not allowed to talk about sex in our schools, in our colleges, or in our churches, or in catechism. Do you have discussions on sex in the catechism classes? Catechism teachers are here. Do you have pretty much open discussion? I'm not talking about teaching the biology of body. That anybody can learn. That biology teachers are teaching how the hormonal changes is taking place and what happens at the puberty age and all those things is biology. I'm not talking about the biology of it. Going the inner meaning of sex. Do we have open discussion there? The students have a lot of problems and confusion about it. Is there any way we can clarify those things? I doubt. There may be some teachers who are doing it or maybe some parents, but generally what I heard is nobody is doing. Then how do the children get the information? You think when you don't give the information, they will not get the information? They will be totally zero. The youngsters are smiling. Our parents thought that way, but we are smarter than our parents. They will come to know this, but through the different sources, resources. What are the main resources they have? A peer group. That is the friends. The peer group is the best resource. Who are the peer group? So they have taken doctorate in sexuology, and they have done a lot of research and lot of experiences. So they will be now able to talk about sex. Who? Same classmate, peer group. And there may be one leader, either girl or boy, in all the categories. This is what I understand. It's the truth. And that leader pretend that he knows everything or she knows everything. Everyone will go for asking doubt. I have a doubt, If it is something like this, what you should do? If something happens this way, then what is that? The leader will open up the wisdom and guide them all the possible ways so that the blind is leading the blind, both will fall into the welcome to the confusion of the secular world, the pornographic culture. So, if we are not authentically giving them the truth about it, and if we say that is chichi, we should not talk about it, St. John Paul II said, let us start talking about sex in our schools, in our homes. Parents should be able to talk about sex very freely. Parents should be able to give the truth about our sex, the meaning of our sex and body, before the pornographic culture empower them and give the wrong idea, wrong knowledge. And once they get the wrong idea, it is very difficult to make them flesh out from their mind all those wrong ideas about sex and about marriage and about everything. Do you agree with me? That's true. So that's why, after my this theology of the body class, this session is specifically given for you to enlighten others taking class about sex. So we are going little detail into it. We are going to take the root of the word, how the word sex came. So the word sex came from the Latin word sexus, means being either male or female. Either being a male gender or a female gender, this is what the original root of the word sexus means. So that's why the church is using this word with that meaning in its profound and the depth of it. Is this very clear? Yes or no? So this is how the word sex came from this word. So according to the Catholic Church, sexuality means our creation as male and female and the call to become one flesh in the image and likeness of the Trinitarian God. If we put everything in a small sentence, this is how it is. When we say sex means the way we are created as male or female and looking at each other, the call, the attraction, the passion to become one flesh union so that we can imitate, we can be a sign to the Trinitarian God. This is what we are going to unpack in the coming couple of sessions. How are we going to resemble the Trinitarian God through marriage? When husband and wife comes together, they become one flesh union. How they are replicating the Trinitarian God. This is what we will be seeing later. So in this sense, every human being who is created into this world is a sexual being. So we are all called sexual beings. Can we all say it together? We are all sexual beings. Can you look at your neighbor and say, in this sense, you are a sexual being? Since you are attending the theology of the body class, it is okay. You can say loudly, your neighbor, look at them and say, you are a sexual being. Because God created you either male or female. Sex is something we are. We are. So it is not just the biological gender, it is the innermost essence of a human person. So John Paul II said, you cannot separate body and sex. You cannot stop talking about sex when you talk about body, because both are the integral part of each other. The essence of human person, the innermost essence of the human person is either being a male or female, the capacity to become one flesh union in the likeness of the Trinitarian God. Wow. So now you see, we are taking up the gear, we are moving up, 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 we will be climbing up to the hill. Are you catching this point? So this is something we are. So when we call the other person as a sexual being, what we acknowledge, God created you as a male or a female. But don't do this exercise when you go out after the theology of the body seminar. It can create trouble for you. You are filled with the Holy Spirit and you are with the TOB lens. So you will see the other person as God's image, and the body reveals God, but not the pornography culture. Yet we need to evangelize their vision. Till then, don't call them. If you go and tell, suppose you go and tell, just imagine what happened. You are a sexual being, gone. What, so much misinterpretation comes there. Yeah. You know what is going to happen, right? So please be careful. That's why I give you a warning. So here, we are created in the image and likeness of God to participate in the created version of the uncreated love. Means the eternal exchange of love. Means the Trinitarian love. Don't worry, we will unpack all those things. The coming sessions and all will be giving us more clarity on this. So what is the purpose of being male and female and becoming one flesh union through the marriage? What is the call and what is the purpose of it? To create a small version of the Trinitarian love. What is happening in the Trinity is the eternal exchange of love. So create here. Are you getting there? So the sexual urge taps into the most powerful drives and desires of the human heart. That's why we are given with the passion of sexual desires. Youngsters come and ask, I have a lot of passion and urge and sexual drive. I know Satan is bringing this into my life. My life is getting ruined because of that. If they are coming to you, is Satan bringing this urge, this drive? No. Is Satan bringing it? If you have a sexual urge and drive when you see an opposite sex, is it Satan bringing that? Yes or no? Some have still doubt. It is not the Satan who is bringing. The urge is the innermost secret, the power, the capacity to love that is stamped in our body when He created us male and female, which we call the spousal meaning of the body or the nuptial meaning of the body. That's not the Satan who brings that. So, depending on how we direct it, this urge and this passion, when we see the opposite sex, depends on how we direct it. Either it will be for the greater good or greater evil. It all depends on. From that point, how we direct it. We can direct into the right direction through marriage, through the union of husband and wife. They can express it. That is the right direction, but we can take it to the wrong direction also, this one. Whichever way we want. Self-indulgence, fornication, all those things, wrong direction you can take the urge. That is why we need to understand the sexual urge as created by God was given to us as a love instinct that leads to life. It was given to us as a love instinct. And it will lead us to life. But when we cut off this from the source of God, that is love and life, as the Catholic Church says, the main source of the love instinct is cut off from love, that is life and love. What happens? It will become a lust instinct. Instead of a love instinct, it will become a lust instinct. That is how we take it to the wrong direction. That is how we fall into the ditch of all the brokenness in our life. Because that lust instinct will lead to death. That is why we call the culture, the pornography culture, a culture of death. Because they are cutting off love and life from the natural instinct God has placed in them and taking them into the wrong direction as a lust instinct that is leading them to a broken, a destroyed, a death. Culture of death we are living when John Paul II says that is what does it mean. So these sexual attitudes and behaviors then have the power to orient not only the individuals but the entire nations and societies towards respect for life or towards its utter disregard. All what we see today against the abortion or contraception or pornography, everything is the result of this. Because we are taking it to the wrong direction and so many countries have legalized it. The nation has the power to legalize it, to make it okay, make people feel it is okay, you can do it. And that is how even the destroyal of the nation, the society, everything it can cause. If we are neglecting the human life, the love and life is neglected. Again, human life, its dignity and its balance depends on in the history and every point the love between the sexes. Everything depends on that. That is why we say, none of us have been here 5 generations back, 10 generations back. You just imagine if one sexual intercourse was missing somewhere in the chain. If one was missing, which trace, go back. If that one was missing, none of us would have been here today. Praise the Lord. So that's why it has so much power, even to create not only families, the societies, the communities, the world itself. It is the mystery of the universe. The capacity for the union, the sex, being male and female. People ask the question, why did God create a female after male? There could have been two males. That may be some people who are arguing, saying two male could make love. They could exchange love. We'll come back to those questions later. So this is what we need to understand. It is the most powerful mystery of the creation, the sex. So Catholic Church always upholding the true dignity and value of the sex. So when we neglect it, generations can be suffering. This I put some examples. How many abortions took place because people legalized? They separated sex from life. They just wanted only the pleasure. They don't want love or life there. The nations legalized it to separate it from the sexual union. That is how they legalize abortion. Do you have any idea when did in India it is legalized the abortion? Pro-life. Eh? 1970? 71. Very good. 48th, the act has come. 48th years. It's already, I think it was this month. August 10th, I think it is. Celebrating the 48th year. Good to know. General knowledge. This I have just taken from the internet this morning. From 1980, how many abortions took place worldwide? This is from the world clock of abortion. I have taken. How many? 1 point? I don't know. You can count and say. How many? 1.5 billion. What is the world generation? The world population? 7 or 7.1 or 172. You see this? This is from 1980 onwards. So many. And worldwide this year, how many you see? Abortions. You pro-life. That's why you are all, how many? Worldwide this year. Worldwide today, this was morning at 8:30 when I took. The clock was moving. It was 45,214. Morning, the worldwide. So what I'm telling is, this is why if we separate it from love and life, even generations, even the world history can be changed. That is what we need to understand. What do you think India every year, how many children are being aborted? I would say instead of abortion, you can say how many children are being killed. Only for medical purposes, only very few are being aborted. You have any idea? This I have taken from 2017 from the newspaper. I have taken 15.6 million. This is a reliable report. That's why I took this report. 15.6 million abortions occur annually in our country, in India. 15.6 million or more. So what I'm telling is, when people do not understand the true meaning of sex, that is replicating the Trinitarian love, all this legalization and all these things can happen around us. That is why we said, it is the great mystery. It is the great mystery of the universe that is planted in our body when He created us male and female. That's why we are all born as a sexual being male or female. Then the question can come, what about others and all things? You can put down your questions. Definitely we will address them when we get an opportunity to discuss about it. So this is how the sexual act is related to the mystery of life. Without sex, universe would have been totally blank. Do you believe that? That's why I said, just go back. One link was cut, none of us would have been here. Same case with the universe. So that is why the church, Catholic Church, is saying the sex is the most important thing in our life. We need to understand it truly. But people outside say the church is against sex because they don't know the sex, what exactly is sex. They have only the idea about the pornographic meaning of the sex. They don't know the underlying, the inherent, the intrinsic meaning, the powerful meaning of sex. So they say church hates sex. That's why they become all this, rules and regulations against all these things they say. So sexuality means creation as male and female, being male or female, and the capacity to become one flesh union through marriage to replicate the Trinitarian God. This is what we have seen yesterday. In that sense, every human being by nature is a sexual being. Sexual being. So sexuality is not just concerned only about the biology. It is the inner essence, the innermost being of any human person. That's why sex or sexuality is so important, and the church is so much concerned about the sex. Is Catholic Church talking about sex? Catholic Church is the only institution or anything you can say in this world who speaks so deep about the sexuality. So sex is something we are. So through the sexuality, we are creating a small version of the Trinitarian God. This is, I told you, we will unpack this one. Then we have seen the power of this sexuality, that is the spousal meaning of the body, the capacity to express love. It is a love instinct which is given in our life as one of the precious gifts, the best precious gift given. And He stamped this capacity in our body when He created us male and female. So once we remove the love from that instinct, that urge, it will become a lust urge or an instinct. That means the lust is always cutting off with love and life, which is God. That leads to death. That is why we say the pornographic culture, we are living in a culture of death. Then again, we have seen the sexual attitude that it can orient towards the life or death, because we have seen the number of more than 1.5 billion children being aborted when they separated love and life from the sexual union. So this is what we have seen. Again, sex is a great mystery. Sex is a great mystery which reveals the eternal plan God has for this universe. Is this much very clear to everyone? And that means when we think about sex, without life, there is the universe cannot exist. People are trying to cut off life from the sex. The universe would not have been existing. Now we have a lot of justification. Some of your question also, I went through the question. I will incorporate those things and we will have separate session. You can still keep on putting the questions there. So they are justifying it because of the population and everything. If you study very closely, that is not the real problem. They are talking about the abortion or other things. It is they don't want life. They wanted to be separating life and love from sex. So this is what we have seen. So again, God's plan for sexuality is to mirror His love for the world. This also we have seen. In other words, I'm just concluding this. Sex is all about, this is very important. I am putting the conclusion here. Can we all read together? Sex is all about revealing, proclaiming, and entering into the divine mystery of love. Divine mystery of love. This is all sex is all about. That is why I put this way. Sex is all about life and love, according to Catholic Church. Sex is all about life and love. Any sexual activity cutting off love and life, it is not according to the purpose and plan of the Creator. So we will see what exactly is love, okay? The secular culture has misguided us about love. So we will get a clarification on that is also. But there is someone who twisted this statement. Let's say sex is all about life together. But there is someone who just twisted it. Who is that? Our enemy. Who is our enemy? We have only one enemy to fight together. Who is our enemy? Satan. From the beginning, he is after us. From the beginning, he is after us. Christ has defeated him, but we got the victory. But because of our, again, the tendency we go back again and we will become supporters of him, unfortunately. The world is always supporting him and he just twisted it. What did he say? Life is all about sex. You have only one life. You are so young, energetic. You have all this urge in you. Go and do whatever you want with whomever you want. That is life. That is your freedom. We are all there for sexual freedom. This is what he said. Then what did he say? Life is all about sex. When you look at it, you will see it looks more or less confusing for you. But there is a big difference between the first statement and the second statement. Which one you will agree with? The first one or second one? Because you are Catholics. Because you attended the TOB class. Otherwise, it looks like more or less same. Yeah, that is true. I have so much urge, so much this one. So I should be able to do what I feel like doing. Why the marriage is coming in between? Why all this church rules and regulations? No, all these things. Why it should come? And this is the argument people are saying when they don't want to include the real love and life with this. So you don't agree with the first one? What did you say? I didn't hear. You don't agree with the first statement? You disagree? Agree with. So we don't want the second statement. This is the fight. We need to do it together.